Well, holy shit. Now, I'm really lost for words when it comes to Doctor Who, but just wow. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah. So at the end of Season 2's finale, The Reality War, the Doctor used his regeneration energy to reset the timeline, which had been slightly altered by the Rani and Conrad Clark altering history on their own part in Wish World. The reset of the timeline also led to 15's regeneration, and in quite a massive shock for fans, including myself, the Doctor regenerated into none other than Billie Piper, who we last saw in the Whoniverse back in 2013 during the 50th anniversary. Now, a lot of people have been speculating about what this now means, given that the Doctor has now for some reason taken on the face of a past companion. In this video, I'm going to briefly discuss my thoughts on Season 2, give you a recap on Rose Tyler, as well as talking about how 15's regeneration could possibly be connected to the Bad Wolf. So let's take a look. Okay, I'll start off first by going over my mixed thoughts on Season 2. Now, the first season, despite my own enjoyment, had received mixed opinions by the fans. Has Season 2 had that same reception? I would say yes, but not as much as the previous season, at least in my opinion. So what did I think? Well, I actually loved it. Season 2, I have to say, was absolutely spectacular. Not flawless by any means, but I thought this was the strongest season of Who that we've had since the Disney Plus deal, which I think does say quite a lot. I think Russell has definitely gotten more of a grasp on his own ideas, and has learned to not go completely off the rails when it comes to the show itself. Plus, I think he's shown a little bit more restraint this time around, which I thought was for the best. Alongside that, I loved the variety of writers over the course of this season, and it helps the episodes stand out really well. Now, whilst I did enjoy each episode over this entire season, the standouts for me have to be Lux, The Well, The Story and the Engine, the Interstellar Song Contest, and The Reality War, so over half of the season, which I think was better when you take into account that Season 1 didn't have that many well-received episodes. Now, each episode has something different and unique to offer, whether it be a cartoon coming to life, the return of an unseen horror, a barbershop perched on the back of a spider, Eurovision in the future, or the literal reset of reality. Now, my point is that Season 2 had enough uniqueness in its episodes and story to offer fans of the show and a more generalised audience. And of course, we have the Rani, played both by Archie Punjabi and Anita Dobson. Also, it does feel pretty good to have an answer to who Mrs. Flood is after all this time. And then, of course, we have the reveal of the big godlike villain of the finale, and the reason I lost a £20 bet to my brother, the return of Omega. Now, I know a lot of people loved seeing Omega come back, including me and my brother in that regard, but I would have preferred we didn't see a massive CGI monster again. I get it's likely because of the antimatter universe, but I personally felt that Omega could have been done a bit better this season. I would have preferred more human proportions, but I think this is the best we could have gotten. Okay, now before I get to the regeneration, I want to quickly talk about the Doctor because we've gotten a very large change from the character this season. Now, I talked previously in my Season 1 review about how Ncuti managed to separate himself from his role on Sex Education and crafted a new Doctor that was received moderately well. And I think that this season, Ncuti has cemented himself as a Doctor to be remembered by people for years to come, despite the fact he was only 15 for 2 seasons and 3 specials. And honestly, I'm quite sad to see him go. Having been on board with his casting since he was announced, I do genuinely wish Ncuti nothing but the absolute best, and I think his future will be incredibly bright, and I will of course be looking at what he does next, whether it be in theatre, film or television. And that of course brings us to the big reveal and the moment from the finale that left me and many fans absolutely speechless, the 15th Doctor regenerating into Rose Tyler. Now, I've had some time to collect my thoughts on the finale, and I thought this was a great twist because I'm sure a lot of people were expecting Ncuti to regenerate and then the screen cutting to black before we see the result. But I'm quite happy with the result of the regeneration. I'm sure a lot of Whovians are coming up with theories as to how the Doctor now looks like Rose Tyler, and I'm here to add to that massive pile of speculation and fan theories. But first, I think it's important that we discuss who Rose Tyler is for those who are a little bit confused or are newer fans of the show. Now, Rose Tyler is one of the most important figureheads in the modern era of Doctor Who. We first met her in 2005 during the Auton invasion, where she became a companion of the 9th Doctor. She travelled with him for a whole series before 9 regenerated into David Tennant, and then Rose continued to travel with 10 until she was trapped in a parallel universe during the Battle of Canary Wharf. Rose would return briefly in Series 4 to help the Doctor and his other companions fight the Daleks before returning to Pete's world, but this time with a half-human version of the Doctor, being banished to Pete's world because he committed genocide. Now, Rose remained in this world with the Meta-Crisis Doctor as the walls of reality were returning to normal, and Pete's world was apparently sealing itself off forever, meaning Tim was never going to see this version of Rose again, which made his interaction with the past version in 2005 much more depressing. Now, the important thing to note for this video is that during the parting of the ways, Rose absorbed the energy of the Time Vortex and became the Bad Wolf, and scattered the words across the stars and her own timeline in sort of an ontological paradox, meaning that the words Bad Wolf had no discernible point of creation. Eventually, 9 would absorb the power from Rose, which led to his regeneration, and the Bad Wolf persona would later return in the Day of the Doctor, warning the War incarnation of the ramifications that would come from using the moment to end the Time War. Now, the obvious question here is, why has the Doctor regenerated into Rose Tyler? Well, I think it's a mix of several things. Firstly, the Doctor has been known to subconsciously choose faces of people he's met before. In Series 9, we find out that the Doctor subconsciously chose the face of Caecilius from the fires of Pompeii to remind him that he could always save someone. And whilst not confirmed on screen yet, it's possible that the 5th Doctor may have subconsciously chosen the face of Commander Maxwell from Arc of Infinity to remind him that he can't always be the good man, though that is just a theory posed both by myself and Captain Jimmy Pie, who originally came up with the idea. Links to both of these videos will be in the description. That then brings us to today, where the 15th Doctor has regenerated into his next incarnation, with a striking resemblance to Rose Tyler. However, I posed the theory that when the Doctor used his regeneration energy to reset the timeline, I believe it was entirely possible that he may have opened the heart of the TARDIS itself, and might have inadvertently absorbed some energy from the Time Vortex. And who else do we know that has absorbed that kind of energy? That's right, Rose Tyler. So when the Doctor regenerated, having absorbed this energy, his telepathic link with the TARDIS may have influenced the face that he chose for his next incarnation, this being the face of Rose. Whether this will lead to any other ramifications in future, we don't know just yet, but we'll have time to come up with something more concrete once the next full series of Who drops, hopefully in 2027. So with Season 2 over, Ncuti Gatwa departing and no definitive word on whether the Disney deal is over, what exactly does the future hold for Doctor Who? Well, we do have the upcoming Sea Devil spin-off, The War Between the Land and the Sea, coming possibly later in the year, and after that, nobody really knows. As I said, we don't really have any definitive word on whether or not the Disney deal is over. In either scenario, the next season of Who is more than likely to drop in 2027 at the latest, but if you want something to keep you occupied in the meantime, then be sure to check out my ongoing Doctor Who pitch series. Part 1 is already out now, with Part 2 hopefully coming later this month. But that is my theory on why the Doctor has taken on the appearance of Rose Tyler, and whether or not it may be connected to the Bad Wolf. If you enjoyed this video, then be sure to like and subscribe. Also feel free to comment below and put forth your own theories on this big reveal. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you very soon.
I'm the Doctor.
I have the whole universe at my fingertips.
And I'm all on my own. I'd love it if you came with me.
Give me the loving! Now, stay back. We are going to walk through time.
Into the vortex. You ready for this? And that's just the beginning.
It's not a random landing.
So I keep moving on.